even aware that there was different brands of it. I have definitely not got any design brand of cerebral palsy. I think I picked mine up from Primark. Whenever I'm asked what sort of cerebral palsy I have, I always want to say I've got the bad kind. I don't know what they expect me to say. Next, they will be asking me to rate my cerebral palsy on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being really bad, and 1 being a benefit cheat, appearing in the Jeremy Kyle show. I have been called many different names in the past. Just last week, someone called me physically challenged, which I always thought was a game on Crystal Maze. Of course, other names have not been as nice. In fact, I'm sick of getting pointed at, laughed at, looked at strangely, treated as if I am stupid, and called names just because I am different. It's not even my fault that I'm from Newcastle. When people find out more about my disability, they start to tell me how sorry they are. Everyone is so sorry all the time. Sorry to hear I can't talk. Sorry about my walk. Sorry I will never make it onto Strictly Come Dancing. But I say, screw them. Don't feel sorry for me. I've already told you that I'm a complete bastard. I'm the sort of guy who presses every button in the lift when I'm getting out of it. I'm the kind of guy who makes people move out of the disabled space on the train, even when the whole carriage is empty. I'm that person who gets up to do karaoke and then pretends the microphone is broken when no sound comes out of my mouth. One of the worst things about my disability is having my hair cut. I really don't like getting it done. Everything about the process is just so awkward. The main reason why I don't like it is because once the cloak is on and my hands are trapped, I can't speak at all. In fact, I didn't even want this haircut. However, there was no way of asking them to stop once it had started. But I still had to nod and smile and pay £30 for the privilege. Also, the banter with my hairdresser is very one-sided indeed. Needless to say, she still doesn't know where I'm going on holiday this year. I also don't like the fact that you have to spend half an hour looking at yourself in the mirror. I'm very self-conscious, so I don't like looking in the mirror at the best of times. I really wish I was some sort of disabled vampire, so that I didn't have to see my reflection. But I'd make a pretty shit vampire, I reckon. I mean, I'm not very good at biting, so that would be my first problem. I would have to have a special helper vampire who could drain the blood from the victim for me to drink. They would also have to chop up the flesh into small, manageable pieces for me to eat, or put it all in some sort of Tupperware container for later. This brings me to my second problem. Vampires tend to like to move about at night. I have enough trouble walking in the daytime without tripping over. I'd have no chance at night. I'd just end up falling over, cutting my head open, and I'd just have to hope some of the blood pours into my mouth. Vampires are tough with fast reflexes as well. In case you haven't noticed, Those aren't exactly my strong points. In fact, my reflexes are shit. I'm forever getting asked by taxi drivers if I am as clever as Stephen Hawking too. I'm clearly not as clever as them, or I wouldn't be in this generic town or city talking a load of crap. I can do a great Stephen Hawking impression though. I'll show you. Hello, I am Stephen Hawking, and the universe is bloody massive and that. In fact, I love pretending to be the professor when I'm on the telephone. Like when I phoned up Curry's, pretending to be Hawking, and tried to tell them that I had just had sex. Then I told them that I had caught a sexually transmitted disease. And then I asked if they had any antivirus software to fix it. But the closest I have ever come to being Hawking is when I went to see The Theory of Everything at the cinema. It's the movie about Stephen Hawking and his life. I didn't go to watch it though. I just went so that I could sit at the back, saying random sentences on my iPad, and mess with the rest of the audience. So, Hawking would say something on screen, and then I would speak up at the back and explain that I didn't say it at all, and that the movie was putting words into my machine. One guy in front of me seemed to be really impressed that it was being shown in surround sound. Then, at other times, I would type what I thought he was going to say just before he said it. This was especially fun when he was talking to his wife, and I kept saying, "I slept with your sister." Another question that I get asked quite often is, have I ever tried to talk just to see what would happen? As if I had just been lazy all of my life, and therefore just couldn't be bothered to talk. Like I was only putting it on to take advantage and jump the queues at Disney World. But, in case you are wondering, no, I haven't tried to talk before. Mainly because I know nothing would happen. I'm not going to suddenly open my mouth and hear Brian Blessed's voice booming out. Besides, I've built a career out of not being able to speak now. I don't think I should be encouraging my voice to magically reappear too much. The found voice guy just doesn't have the same ring to it. I do actually talk in my sleep though. I know I do because I always wake up with random sentences typed out on my iPad. Admittedly, this job would be so much easier if I could talk. Because apparently it's very important to get your tone of voice right when doing comedy. So that means I'm completely screwed. For example, this is what I sound like when I'm excited, and this is what I sound like when I'm miserable, and this is what I sound like when I'm happy, and this is what I sound like when I'm bored.
In fact, the only time I sound any different is on Thursday nights, when I pretend to be a woman.
No, Seriously. Yet another question that I get asked on a regular basis is why I want to put myself in a position where everyone can stare and laugh at me. The truth is that it happens to me every day anyway. At least this way there's a scheduled time and place for it. I like to think I'm providing a public service, which is more than the government is doing at the moment. Of course, I do it because I want to be famous too. I think everyone does really. I started off in a disabled Steps tribute band. We were called Ramps. That was a bit of an uphill struggle. I used to often think about going on the X Factor just to see the look on their faces when they realise I can't actually sing, or dance, or talk. I don't wonder about this anymore. The X Factor auditions came to the area recently, so obviously I went along to see what would happen. I thought I could be in with a chance, because Gareth Gates became successful despite his I never even expected to reach the judges. Surely someone would question how the hell I was going to sing. I did feel a little bit bad for wasting their time. Not much though. Please try to remember that I'm a bastard. I could see straight away that they were very confused when I walked in. The look on their faces as I began to sing was priceless, especially as I started to dance along to the words as well. Unsurprisingly, they rejected me without even raising a smile. In fact, they still didn't smile as I walked out and asked them if it was because my voice had sounded too flat. In hindsight, I don't think I chose the right song to sing. I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me. Too sexy for my show. So sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan. New York and Japan. When the X Factor didn't work out, I tried to get jobs doing voiceovers. You might recognize some of my previous work. The next train to arrive on platform 4 is the 12:52 service to London King's Cross. And from my time at the post office, go to cashier number 4, please. I even had a job as a talking clock once, but it took me at least 10 seconds to type in the time, so I was always wrong. To be honest, the pay for voiceover work was rubbish. Plus, I was always getting sacked when they realized that they could replace me with a machine. So, I was always skint. Mainly because I spent all my benefit money on shit that I didn't need. And I just kept doing that to annoy the Daily Mail. When I was really skint, I used to do a bit of street performing to keep the money coming in. It's amazing